For this project, you're going to need a tongue depressor. You're going to need a piece of cardstock, an outline of a blank mask, and a few pieces of different colored construction paper. Also, it's helpful to have a template with some pre-drawn shapes on it so that you can cut them out. Alright, so today, since most of this project is based on creativity and what kind of superhero you want to create, I'm just going to show you a few different cutting techniques that will help you create your mask. First thing I need to do is I need to transfer my shape of my mask onto my cardstock, which I just crudely drew it and tried to make sure that it was the same. And then I took that and I cut it out. So then I ended up with a cutout with 2 eye holes and a mouth. Now I'm going to show you how you can cut these out without having to cut through your mask and cut it out. Let me show you how to do that now. I have the mask here and I've cut out the outside edge, as you can see, which is the easy part. Now I want to cut out the center of the eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly fold my paper. I don't really want to make a crease in it, I just want to lightly fold it. And I want to make a cut where the eye should be. So if you fold it lightly and you cut, you can't cut all the way to the edge of the line because that won't be on the same as on the top and the bottom. So you're just cutting out a piece so you can get your scissors in there. So we're going to do that the same thing on this side. And we're going to cut that out. And we should have 2 really bad looking holes. Now, what we need to do is we need to use the scissors and put them inside the hole and carefully cut around the inside. Now this is not a very easy task, but if you take your time and you slowly use the tip of the scissors, you can cut out your hole. Now that you've finished cutting the eye holes out, you can set this aside until we're ready to start putting the pieces on your mask. So the next technique I'm going to show you how to do is how to get multiple images out of one single cut. Now what I like to do is I like to get my colored paper out and I will pick up a purple one, a green, a blue, maybe a yellow. Depending on how thick your paper is, I probably wouldn't cut more than 4 or 5, and since this is really thin printer paper, I think we'll be okay. So you take your paper and you can stack it up on top of each other. It works the best if they're not all messy like this and you actually get them to all line up. And so what I do is I find the image that I want to cut. And as you see, I have my template sheet here, and I need to make a lot of lightning bolts because I want my character to have a lot of lightning bolts on his head. So I'm going to remove this lightning bolt from my worksheet, and I can do this 1 or 2 ways. Normally I would want to start with a flat side, so I would cut a straight side. So there's my flat side of the lightning bolt. And because I know that's going to be one side, what I would do is I would take a paper clip, and paper clip all these sheets of paper together. Now, this makes it easier to cut out your shape. So even to make it even easier, I would just cut out the outline of this shape so I don't waste paper. And I can reuse all this paper again by lining it up. So I would just cut out the rough shape and then go from there by trimming it down. And the paper clip will help you hold it together so that it doesn't slip around everywhere. And if it starts getting messed up and turned, you can always just put your papers back together and take the time to make sure they're all lined up. So let me show you how to do this. So there you have it. You have your template, which is your white one that's on top, and you have all your lightning bolts cut out so that you have 5 identical things to glue down. So I want to keep these together, and I'm going to set these aside because I'll need them for my mask. Now sometimes you'll get random pieces out of your scraps that you might want to use and random things, so always check your scraps before tossing them out. You never know what you could use. So to illustrate my last cutting technique, I went on the internet and I found an example of what I wanted to cut out. Now I want to cut out the crown that King Titan wears from The Little Mermaid. I really like the way it looks, so I'm going to show you an easy way to cut a symmetrical crown now. To do this, I grabbed the example, a yellow sheet of paper, and a mask so I can do some quick measuring. Now, you know that when you fold something in half, it's going to be twice as long as when you unfold it. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold our piece of paper in half and draw half of our object. So we're only going to draw half of our object. We're only going to draw half of the crown. So let me show you how that works. Now, the most important part of this is making sure that you draw on the correct side, or your image is drawn on the correct side. Now, because we want the tallest point, the tip of it, to be in the center, so we want it to be the center fold, we need to make sure that we draw it accordingly. So we're gonna just draw that half. Now, fold your paper over, and on the folded side, the side that has the crease, you're gonna wanna draw your image that you want to be symmetrical. Now we're only gonna draw half the image, so let's just draw half of it. Now that you finish drawing it, I would suggest to make any adjustments before you cut it out, because once you cut it out, that's all you got. You can only make it smaller. So I'm gonna just add a little bit there and erase this. And now time for the magic. Now that we're done cutting, we can get rid of the scraps. Now this is a good piece of paper, so you can use this for something else. So we'll set that aside, and we're going to unleash the magic and see what it looks like. So you can leave the pencil side on the back and unfold it, and look, our crown actually looks pretty good. So there's some tips, and you can watch me make mine, because here will be a time lapse of me putting together the rest of my project using the same techniques you'll be using that I've shown you. All right, well, good luck with your project, and I hope they come out great. Bye. Now just real quick, before we glue anything down, I want to see what my mask looks like and make sure that I want to glue everything down and in what order. So I'm going to put it together without using glue first, and then go back and glue everything in. So this will be just its dry fit, and you're just going to place things where you want them to go as you work. sorry, hold on, I almost forgot. You need to tape a tongue depressor onto the back so you have a stick to hold on to your mask with. All right, well, that's the end of this project. For real this time.